You everyone for joining. Just a quick introduction. I myself from Salt Essential IT. I will be presenting the first 15 minutes of the session with regards to the simulated attack simulation in the Microsoft portfolio, which covers security awareness for the end users. Then we've got Tinas from Netskope. He's going to take us through the next half an hour. Really, I think valid and important content that he's going to be presenting to us today. And then we've got Bishan from Learning Curve, who's going to take us through digital signatures in a nutshell. So we're going to start off. We're going to try to keep the session to an hour. We know that everybody is very busy. So I'm going to kick off by starting to share my screen. And what I'm going to show you today is the new attack simulation component that has been built into the Microsoft portfolio. It's really actually quite fantastic because instead of having a third party, we used to have a third party software that we used for the specific purpose to test our users and to also ensure that they are trained for the cyber attacks that are, I think, increasing day by day. So we need to empower our end users to be able to know when to click, when not to click, and not be afraid of clicking. I heard on the radio yesterday that a CEO of a very prominent company in Namibia was telling everyone, just don't click on the link, don't click at all. You know, if you don't click on the link, you might miss something important. You scare people into a state where they are unable to do their work because they are afraid of electronic communication and interacting electronically. So the best way to address that, and our end users are just that, they are normal, everyday people who are not aware of all of the scams going on. So the only way to address that is with training. We need to train our employees. We need to empower them to recognize when is it a legitimate communication, when is it a legitimate request, and when is it not a legitimate request. So I think this feature that Microsoft has brought in, now part of the Microsoft stack, is very relevant to our times. Up to a couple of months ago, it was just the simulation of the attack that was available, but Microsoft have now brought in the full security awareness training portfolio as well. We've been testing it at SALT, and I'd like to show you briefly what it's about. On that note, we will be sending out a feedback form afterwards. So please, if you want a follow-up session, I'm sure there is definitely proof of concepts, trials and demos available for everything that we're going to be showing you today. So we will send out the feedback form, engage with us, talk to us. We're here to help your organization stay secure and relevant in these trying times. So let me quickly share my screen. What I'll show you now is basically my security, oops, wrong page, my security center. So this is security.microsoft.com. We're figuring out the licensing currently. What we've tested is that not everyone needs an E5 license for this. The person that is launching or simulating the attacks needs an E5 license, but it looks like the other users can be tested, and they can also get the security training, the awareness training, without having an E5 license. Please don't hold me to the numbers yet. We're still figuring out the licensing. It's quite new to us, but that's what it looks like currently. So on my M365 Defender portal, you'll see, if you navigate your eyes to the left-hand side, there is an attack simulation training section. So I'll just go. And I do apologize if I'm a little bit slow. I've been having fun and games with the internet the past week. And then I get impatient and I just want to click the button again. And that's what people say you shouldn't be doing. But I'm just going to do it because I'm impatient. Okay. Looks like it's coming. Okay, so let me just talk while it's busy loading. So what it basically allows you to do from this attack simulation training um, portal is you are now able to launch an attack on your employees. So you are able to create a fake attack. And it's basically the types of attacks, or what they call the payloads, comes from the Microsoft Security Center information. So Microsoft probably employs some of the largest security teams to ensure that, they've got the red hats and the blue hats and all kinds of hats trying to get into systems and hacking and all of that. And they then use this, what they are experiencing, to actually generate these attacks and threats into their systems. So what you're seeing now on the attack simulation training is the overview section. On the overview section, you will be able to see high level, your recent simulations that you've done. You see your basically what the improvement has been on compromise. So as these attacks are launched on the end users, they are launched, the end users engage with it, they click or they either don't click, they enter credentials or they don't enter, and based on their behavior, they are assigned training to address that specific behavior. So it's really nice because it's very specific to what the end user is doing wrong. And here you can then see how your end users are improving. So we've got 13 users less susceptible to phishing. Then you can also see your training completion, high level, 43% of our users have completed the training. You can look at a review, repeat offender report, and then also how many users have or have not experienced the simulation. What is also really nice is you'll see this everywhere. Here it's at the bottom right-hand side. There, it also gives you recommendations of actions that you can perform within the admin portal that you can do to improve the situation, to reduce the risk of attack. So if I go into my simulations tab, then I can from here easily add a simulation. And you'll see there are multiple different options here. I can do a credential harvest. I can do a malware attachment. I can put a link in an attachment, link to malware, and drive-by URL. So I'm just going to pick the link to the malware and click on next. Then I'm going to just give it a simulation name and click on next. And then here I can now choose from the payload. So these payloads come from the current attacks, old and new. And you can basically choose something that is applicable to your users, something that they, I don't want to say be gullible with, but if you do work a lot with courier companies, you might look at a DHL parcel tracker as a payload. You can also create your own payloads. If these are not suitable to you, they're not Namibian enough, you can create your own payload as well. Then I just click on next. Oops, I didn't select the payload. So let's see, blocked Facebook account. I click on next. Here I can target my users, either all the users in my organization or only a specific group. The finance and especially management, exco, those groups are very vulnerable. HR, people that are very public on websites, on social media to promote our companies. They are usually a very high risk group, and that you can also find who the high risk group is in your admin portal, or you can just do all users. And then you click on next, and then you can assign the training from here. You can also customize the preview page. So here it says it's okay, you're human, but you can customize it as per your company requirements. And then you can launch the simulation as soon as you're done or for later. And that's basically as easy as it is. You can send a test email to yourself just so that you can see what it looks like before you actually launch, and then you can submit. And that is how easy it is to actually launch an attack. So what happens when you've launched this attack? I asked one of my colleagues just to go through the process. So the attack was launched, and then she received this email. When she clicked on the link and entered her credentials, she received this email, which is from the Microsoft portal. And then once she completed her training, you do get training reminders. As soon as you have have made this error in clicking on the wrong link, it'll pop up with that page, but it'll also send you an email with the training that you can complete. And once you are completed, it'll show it to the end user that it has been completed. So I'll just very quickly show you what the training is like, because it's really very nice training, so that you can just get an idea of what it's like. And this is now based on what I clicked. So if I clicked on content specific to web phishing, then it will assign web phishing training to myself. So I'll very quickly just play you a short section on what the training looks like.
Have you or anyone you know ever been interested in one of those great offers? You know, like a new credit card that will give you 15,000 points towards your favorite travel destination?
Yes, I love those deals. I've enjoyed some great trips courtesy of the points I've collected.
Did you know that some websites are set up to lure people to the wrong site? This is called web phishing. Check this out. Which one of these sites should you avoid visiting?
So yeah, then you can now pick, let's see, and we pick one and I submit it, and then it says correct. How difficult was it to spot that American was spelled incorrectly? And these are the type of things that you need to make users aware of, not tell them don't click. I mean, if they get a mail from the bank that they need to update something, I'm not saying they should ever put in their credentials in a third-party website. I'm just saying you cannot prohibit people from doing their work because they're afraid of clicking on anything. You need to educate them when it's okay and when it's not okay to click. Okay, so that is basically from my side what I wanted to show everyone today. Like I said, we will be sending a feedback form afterwards. If you want more information, need more information, want a one-on-one session or a demonstration, proof of concept, or just need help getting this thing set up for you, we are here to assist you. So without further ado, I have great pleasure in handing you over to Tinus from Netskope to take us through the next 30 minutes of our session.
No, thanks a lot, Vanessa, and thanks to everybody for providing us the opportunity just to talk around a general subject. This is not a Netskope specific positioning. If you want more information on Netskope, please reach out to Vanessa and the team where we will support on Netskope. But let me share a screen here. Hold on. And can you see the screen, Vanessa?
It's coming, but my internet is very slow. So maybe the others can see it, but on my side, it's still coming.
Not yet.
Let's give it a minute. We've really had some fun and games this week with the internet. Yeah, maybe just share it again. Yeah.
Anyone seeing, confirming?
Yeah, now we can see. Please go ahead.
All right, good. So the specific point that we discussed like 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, when we started talking with Vanessa around what do we think is the top concerns for our customers is probably a concern that's been the same concern for the last 25 years. Do you know where your data is going? And that's a question with like a hidden agenda. And the second one was users doing or using. So those two questions is probably the main reason companies have invested over the last 20, 25 years in endpoint security, endpoint antivirus, firewalling, unified threat management, VPN, proxy. And there's a lot of components that we can talk around and why we implement it. But the main objective of any cybersecurity strategy or any investment that you're looking to do is to get an understanding of where the data is going, who's got access to the data, who's sharing it, what's using what platforms. So there's a lot of questions around where the data is going, because at the end of the day, the whole purpose we're doing what we're doing is because of the data. When we look at the yesterday, we refer to it as yesterday, but let's say the 2000s, the 2010s, we looked at a user sitting behind a PC, accessing the internet or the mainframe. And a question was raised saying, what are they doing? Are they productive? Are they accessing unwanted material? How do we control the web? How do we control URL filtering? How do we control what documents they're allowed to send or not send? Can they download EXEs? So this was a continuous process from the start of the internet. It's just like, what are we doing? But we also experienced some challenges during this adoption phase. We still have the same components. We have a user, Tinus, behind a laptop, connected over a broadband link in Cape Town, talking to people in Namibia. And it's still the same thing. I'm sharing data on a platform that is Teams, that is hosted in the cloud. But the data, anything I share on this platform and chats and links and information that I share is encrypted. The Teams call is encrypted completely from my machine through Namibia, through Teams sitting in Liquid Telecom and hosted with Azure and Teams in South Africa. We look at that and you're like, what are the users doing inside that traffic? So we had this journey, call it a journey. So we looked at middle layer. We got all these customers investing in endpoint DLP, endpoint antivirus. We looked at firewalls, IDS, IPS. Then it was proxy, sandboxing, user behavior analytics, and that's like a lot of technical complexity thrown into the mix. But that was quite simple when the users owned the data. So you had a server where the data was sitting on your server inside your data center, and we can control how users would access the data center. But what we're actually seeing today in the day challenge is that 80% of all the applications that we use, including Teams, Slack, Box, OneDrive, Gmail,
Tinus,
Google Mail.
Tinus, are we supposed to be seeing a different screen?
I am screening. Is it not moving?
But is it? I don't think it's moving. Let me see. On which page are you now? Because it's on the first page with us or with me.
Anyone else can confirm?
Same with me. Still on the first
Okay.
page.
I don't know
Just
why that,
reshare again. Sorry, it must be a bit of internet issues, but I know that you're talking around something else and we're still seeing the first page.
Can you guys see the page or not?
It's coming.
Strange that it's that bad. Been working
No,
fine for a lot.
Tinus, maybe you should do the call without your video on.
I'll do that.
Just share and reshare so we can forget the video.
See that again. Not sharing. Not seeing anything else.
I'm not seeing anything.
I don't know what else.
Let's try one more time. Otherwise, what you can do is quickly email it to me and I can share it. And then you can just talk them through it.
It's fine.
Just bear with us, team. Technical difficulties.
Let me reconnect and I'll see if I can't connect to a different link.
Okay, cool. Apologies, attendees. We've not really experienced this in one of our other sessions. Let's give it another go.
You guys there?
Yeah, we are waiting for your screen. Okay. It's open.
I'm coming to share.
I never think that in the history of mankind, people were so keen to share stuff. I can't share. I want to share and I can't share.
Are you guys seeing anything?
No.
Okay.
No, just email it through to me, but and then you continue with your talk.
Maybe,
I will.
Maybe what's his name can just no. Let me mail it to you.
Oh, now we see the light has dawned on us. We see.
You're seeing something.
Okay. Yes, now we're seeing. I think the right slide. Yesterday, today. Okay. Go
Okay.
for it.
So
Sorry for the interruption.
no, it's fine. Let's make sure we can see it. But and it's just a journey. A lot of our customers are sitting with us, and it's a problem. I think it's inherently a problem with regards to the way that we run operations and a business. I mean, the business needs to make sure things work, but the data is part of our business. Without that data, in some cases, some of these organizations will close their doors. Okay, so we see this movement of data, and now we're sitting with a challenge that your Office 365 sit in the cloud, your collaboration platforms is in the cloud, your Teams is encrypted sitting in the cloud, or whether you use Teams or WebEx, or there's so many platforms at the moment. And we've got not just one user, we've got multiple devices from one user connecting to all these applications. And as an organization, we assume everybody's got the confidence or the technical know-how to actually address this problem. And it's actually bigger than it was when we only had a machine sitting on a desk where we can control everything that the user was doing. But people talk to this and they talk around digital transformation, and this is where it's going. The fact is, this has enabled us over the last 18 months, 20 months of COVID, and just doing our work, sharing and collaboration, having calls, still talking to each other, meeting with our families and our friends and what we do. But as an organization, we have a responsibility with regards to that data. So if you don't know what your staff is doing with regards to data, are they sharing it across Gmail, Box, OneDrive, all these platforms that's available, and the data is actually encrypted. So the challenge we had is like pre-2017. I mean, I worked for Fortinet for 9 years, and I worked for Cisco for 4.5 years. So I've been in the security space nearly 20 years. But for me, it's quite simple to understand what was the limitations within technology. When we get to 2014, 2017, and we're talking about next generation, firewall is the next best thing ever because it can do application-based controls and application-based visibility. We all wanted to buy an NG firewall. But if the traffic is encrypted today, which is 85% to 95% of all traffic in an organization, your Gmail, your WebEx, your Facebook, your Slack, Teams, all the traffic is encrypted. How do we inspect traffic inside encrypted traffic at scale? Yes, we can do SSL offloading, and technically we can talk around it, but as a general problem for an organization, you don't know where the data is going. The users are logging on to a corporate laptop. So Tinus is logged onto this corporate laptop from Netskope, but I can also log onto my Gmail account on my browser, connecting to my Gmail information, and I can share and download documents whichever way I want. So I don't think the traditional controls that we've tried to implement and manage over the last 10, 15 years is actually enough to manage where we're going over the next 5 to 10 years. And I'm not saying all customers are just going cloud. We see different behaviors in different areas. And it could be vertically aligned. So it could be retail and financial and insurance, because they're dealing with a lot of user data. So capturing your insurance records, your proof of address, and all the insurance, the values of your vehicles, pictures of your cars, where it's locked. I mean, they store so much information. The banks will store a lot of information. So in different sectors, different ways of dealing with data. But if you don't know where the data is going, and you don't know who's accessing that data, we're going to have a problem. If you have 10 user environment or a 5,000 user or 50,000 user environment, we're all sitting with the same problem. So going back and building a fixed infrastructure model, which is in this middle part of this discussion, you can't go and buy 20 technologies and get people to run and support and manage that if you control the user everywhere the user travel. I'm going to go to the next slide. Let's tell me whether you see something or not.
I'm still seeing the yesterday today.
It will probably come. Let me just give it a second.
Just talk through it. We'll talk through it.
So when
It's
I say
there,
you
it's
need to
there.
when I say you need to simplify your approach to cybersecurity, you can't have 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 tools. I mean, some customers that we work with has got more than 20 products, and they go like, mail sits there, email management sits there, DLP, not part of email, it actually sits on the desktop. Desktop's got endpoint antivirus, but it doesn't do contractor access because I can't manage contractor devices. We have a huge problem in how we manage this. So clients are asking us for a simplified model to do this. And similar to this Tesla scenario, build a model that allows you to effectively get visibility of all your user, where the data is going and what they're busy with, what applications are they consuming, is it business orientated, is it managed or unmanaged, but get a simple view on where it's going. And there's not just Netskope, but there's different tools available in the market at the moment to say, I need to simplify this. And the strategy that the customers are positioning and the market's driving at the moment is called SASE, Software Access Services Edge, or Security Edge. You need to move to a model where I've got visibility of all my users anywhere they travel, anywhere in the world. I've got the same security policy always, and I have the ability to control data in motion. So data as it moves the machine from the machine to any cloud provider or SaaS or IaaS. Or I've got visibility into what happens with that user when he logs onto corporate instances and private instances. But it needs to be simplified. So the traditional model was buying and investing in secure web gateways, DLP, unified threat management, and firewalls. And maybe it's a good idea to think about an anywhere strategy versus a point-in-time strategy. So when you talk to your security teams and you talk to your, whether it be a customer discussion or you are the customer, when I approach a security discussion at the moment, we really think about, is it always and anywhere, or is it point-in-time? So if technology that you've invested in gives you a point-in-time benefit, which means only when the user is on site, only when the user is connected to the proxy, or only when the user is using the VPN, then what happens with the rest of the time? So if 70% of the time the user is connecting to a coffee shop, 3G, or sitting at home, and you don't have visibility of what's happening on that user, I don't know why anyone would invest in a 30% or 20% effective security strategy. So really think about anywhere, always, full data visibility, and I want full control over what my users are doing. Irrelevant of whether you're using X or Y or Z firewalls. This is not about vendors and technology. This is about changing the mindset for you as a customer around always, anywhere policy. There's benefits in adopting Cloud Edge. So we refer to it as Cloud Edge. Reduce complexity, improve security, and I'm just going to the next slide, so it should load now. But improve that your security performance, ease of use and transparency for users. I mean, I'll use an example. I've worked now for this company nearly 20 months, and in this time, I've never started a VPN. I've never enabled or disabled a proxy to do my work. I just work. I can access my private applications. I can access the internal company applications. I can access web. I can access my SaaS applications. It just needs to be simplified for users. Lower operational overhead, because in our case, software as a service or security as a service means we don't invest in any hardware. We don't have any software. We don't have a management dashboard and management software and reporting software. It's as a service. And if I can buy this as a service and then add the specific components that I need to my environment, it gives me control everywhere the user travels with the services that you've enabled with Vanessa and her team, Salt. And as a customer, you can go like, I get what I buy, and I don't have to invest in hardware. It's not the box is too small. You need a bigger box. Your CPU is high. You're running out of memory. You need a bigger box. It's not a box discussion. It's a service discussion and saying, I want these components that I'm highlighting in the middle to be enabled for all my users, anywhere they travel, anywhere in the world, as a service from Salt, and in our case with Netskope. But it's just a general thought process as a discussion point. I'll go to the last slide. Just tell me when the last slide loads, Vanessa. It's
okay.
It's saying policy should be applied anyway.
I still see benefits, but I mean, go on. I'm sure it's going to catch up with you.
I don't know what's happening. Maybe someone's stealing some of our bandwidth. I don't know. It's the first time in 16, and I've worked remotely since 2005 when I started with Fortinet and Cisco. I mean, I've done this 16 years now, and it's the first time. It just doesn't.
I know, it's terrible. I don't know what's going on.
Maybe I need to reboot. Maybe I need to reboot the Windows.
Have you done a Windows update? That was going to be my next question.
Auto updated by the company and enforced even if presenting. It will happen. So,
Okay.
so
Please
the
continue.
slide that I'm sharing covers policy should be applied anywhere and not at a point in time. Do you guys see that slide?
No, we're still on benefits, but just go ahead.
All right. So the big thing is as a company, when you guys think about the user, you want to make sure that in this scenario that I'm highlighting is it's a user called Pat. And I want to know that Pat is logging on with a corporate asset. He's using a corporate sanction application. He's accessing data that we've got permission to. We've got the control over what is allowed to upload, download, share, create, post, DLP information. And there's a lot more granular control and context than what we used to have on a combination of tools. So whether that be a proxy with a VPN and a firewall, you couldn't implement a single policy across 3 or 4 technologies to achieve one objective. So, I mean, we'll share the slide deck, but it's really the ability for you as a customer to think about, I've got full control over application usage, I've got full control over threat, I've got full control over the data that they're distributing across what platform. I can allow, block, and coach the user. So we're moving away from a traditional, let's call it like a block and allow type model, to coaching. I mean, Vanessa made a comment and she says the user clicks on a link and the link is potentially trying to fish information for personal gain. I mean, it's a malicious link. We can actually coach the user and say that the link that you've selected is potentially malicious. Would you want to continue, proceed, yes or no? Or we can actually just block it. So think about your users as an enablement model to allow us to use IT more effectively, not just block and deny. The threats you make a clear decision on. If it's known malicious, known a threat to my organization, in that specific case, we will actually block it. We won't just we won't allow it. But it is a change in the thought process. Think about if you're investing in security, does it address a point in time solution versus always anywhere? And it's a general discussion, and I'll share the slide deck with everybody, and Vanessa, and she'll share it with you guys. But if you have any questions on it, reach out to me. I've done this 25 years, so I might be quite comfortable in some of the areas. But I think if we're more effective in managing our end users and understand where our data is going as a company, we'll actually have a lot better return on where we're spending our money, and support from management and executives to actually make sure that we manage this effectively. So understand where your data is going and understand what your users are doing. Thanks, Vanessa.
Thank you, Tinus. My apologies to the attendees. I will definitely share the deck on the email, the follow-up email. Tinus, if you could kindly just email it to me. And I think the discussion is a very, very relevant one. I think a lot of also the attendees on the call come from a history with a lot of hierarchical infrastructure, heavy, heavy infrastructure coming with, and times are changing. We live in a different world now, and security threats are changing every day. So very relevant. I'm very glad that you made the offer, Tinus. Even if anyone wants to have a conversation, we can set up a one-on-one. We've also got Shamila on the call from CES, who we are partnering with in terms of security solutions. So just for the audience benefit, I mean, we are a Microsoft house, but by no means does Microsoft address everything. That's why we have these info sessions to introduce our partner ecosystem to our customers as well, because our partners like Netskope and Learning Curve have invested heavily to cater to ensure the security, the authenticity, and the compliance of the solution we bring to the customer. Tinus, one question before I hand over to Bishan. You guys, do you do proof of concepts as well? Is it available that we trial some of your stuff?
Yeah, no, it's available, Vanessa. Definitely. I mean, we've done multiple POCs and proof of concepts to values to customers. And it's simple because it's cloud-based. We don't have to ship hardware boxes, and the time to value is actually very quick. I mean, we've done a demo for Salt. We've implemented Salt on a test case and been deployed some of the devices for Salt, and it's quick to deploy. The time to value is actually very quick.
And the thing is, that's what I always say, is we don't know what we don't know. And, you know, this might be a very good opportunity for you to understand. And I think that the things we don't know, those are the things that come and bite us at the end of the day. So thank you very much, Tinas. We appreciate that. Remember the feedback form, everybody. Engage with us, even if it's a one-on-one with us, with CES, with Learning Curve, with Netskope. We are here to support you. So I've faffed enough now. Bishan, you seem to have better connectivity, or something is going a little bit better in your life. So I'm going to hand over to you.
Thanks, Vanessa. I feel your pain. So just a very big thanks to Salt for giving us the opportunity to talk about Adobe Sign. The first part, I'm just going to basically give you an overview of what is Adobe Sign. I don't have a presentation deck, but Vanessa is going to show you a few demonstration videos, just quick snapshot overviews on what Sign does. So just to kick off, I just want to sort of start off by saying to explain to you what is Adobe Sign. Adobe Sign is a cloud-based enterprise class e-signature service that enables you to replace paper and ink signature processes with fully automated electronic signature workflows. With Adobe Sign, you can easily send, sign, track, and manage signature processes using a browser or mobile device. Just to emphasize on that, when they say browser or mobile device, you don't need a license. If you're signing the document, it's just the initiator that needs a license. Next point, Adobe Sign enables you to use turnkey integrations and APIs to include e-signature workflows into your enterprise apps and your systems of record. So, I mean, typically, most of us use Microsoft, the Teams, Word, Excel. There's a lot of integration opportunity within that space. And when Vanessa shares the data sheets with you, you'll be able to see more information on the integration side of it. The next thing I want to just touch on is what business problem does Adobe Sign solve? So 80% of businesses still struggle with paper-based processes that are slow, error-prone, and fragmented. Employees spend hours hunting down approvals and ink signatures, and then print, scan, fax, or email documents to get their job done. I think most of us can relate to this, just the manual paper processes. The resulting delays frustrate customers, business partners, and employees alike, and ultimately reflect poorly on the company's brand. Adobe Sign helps businesses transform paper processes, making 100% digital workflows in a reality with trusted and legal e-signatures. Lastly, I just want to touch on integration, and Adobe Sign tools are built right into Microsoft Office 365. This means that everyone in your organization can transact business and collaborate faster in their favorite Office apps. Adobe Sign enables you to save time with speed signing that basically allows you to prepare and send documents for e-signature and to track their statuses quickly and easily, right within SharePoint, Outlook, Teams, Word, or PowerPoint. Lastly, Adobe Sign enables you to create automated workflows, which gives you the opportunity to add signing steps to SharePoint workflows or use Microsoft Flow connectors to automate processes. That's basically it from my side. For today's demo, I'm actually going to give you all an opportunity to to test Adobe Sign, and what it's basically entails. It's literally you're going to receive an email with a link, and when you receive the email, all you have to do is basically fill in your name and surname, and you'll see a blue tab that enables you to sign the document. Once you sign the document, you'll get a certificate of attendance. And on that certificate of attendance, on the second page of that attendance certificate, you'll actually see an audit trail, which will basically show you my IP address, the time stamp that I sent you the certificate of attendance to sign, and your IP address and your email address. What this is basically, it's a secure audit trail that is enforceable in any court of law. So before I hand over to Vanessa, any questions? Anything specific anyone have? All okay? With that, I'm going to ask Vanessa to kick off with the videos that we're going to talk through today.
Okay, great stuff. And I do urge everyone to check their mailboxes, have a look out. It's really, you only get to understand how awesome this digital signing tool is if you actually use it and how easy it is. So please, if I can urge you to, when you get the email, go through the process and especially look at the second page for the authentication information. Very interesting. So without further ado, here we go with our first video.
At Adobe, we're all about powering business creativity and continuity anywhere. The digital-first hybrid workplace is now here to stay, and Microsoft Teams has been at the forefront, creating a powerful platform for organizations to stay connected. This has enabled us to bring the power of Adobe apps like Adobe Sign, Creative Cloud, and Acrobat right within Teams. With Adobe Sign for Teams, we're making e-signature experiences in person again in video meetings. And with Adobe Sign powering Teams approvals, adding an e-signature is quicker and easier than ever. This all goes hyperscale in Power Platform with Adobe connectors enabling you to create your own apps with e-signatures and document workflows in Teams. Whether it's government services, telehealth consultations, or complex financial agreements, Adobe and Microsoft are reimagining how work gets done wherever you are.
Thanks, Vanessa. Hope you all found that video insightful.
Okay, can I go with the next one?
Yes, please.
We use Microsoft Teams as our primary communications tool between colleagues and customers. And I can send and manage documents via Adobe Sign directly from a Microsoft Teams channel. This is the Adobe Sign Teams channel, and underneath the Adobe Sign tab, I have the choice to send documents to signature or manage the ones I've already sent. So sending a document is really straightforward. All I need to do is type in a recipient, select a document to send. I'm going to choose a template, which is a contract of engagement, and then I can send it. And that's all I need to do. Once the document's been sent, if I want to manage my documents, I can simply click on the Manage Agreements tab. In this view, I can see the status of all my documents. So for example, In Progress shows me the documents that are out for signature, and there's the one that I've just sent. And Waiting for You tells me that there's a document that I need to sign. The great thing about having this in Microsoft Teams is that even people within the organization who don't have an Adobe Sign license can stop in on the Teams channel and check the status of a document that might be relevant to them.
Yeah, thanks. So just to add one or two comments, let's say I ask Vanessa, sorry, you mind? If I ask Vanessa to sign a contract, she's got a lot on her plate. She misses my email. All I basically do is go into the Manage Agreements tab and set a reminder. So I could set a reminder for Vanessa to sign the contract right now, or I could set a reminder to remind her daily. So there's a lot of intuitive functionality built into to Adobe Sign. Over to you, Vanessa.
Thank you. Play the video now.
One of the things that we're responsible for in my team is a statement of works, which effectively is our contract between ourselves and our client for the project that we're delivering. In the past, they'd have to print it out, sign it, then they'd have to find a way of scanning it, or they could photograph it with their smartphone. But it's just a big hassle. We'd have to chase and chase to get them back. Now with Adobe Sign, that problem's gone. They can just open the document and sign it straight away. They can type their name in, or they can just sign with their signature using their finger. It's instant. You can even put an expiry date on it to sign it within a specific time, and the system actually manages reminders to the client as well, so we haven't got to chase and continually follow up. It gives us an immediate receipt as soon as they've signed it, so we know we can start the project. For the client, we look far slicker and far more professional, and we have a much higher success rate of getting them back on time. Ultimately, having Adobe Sign means that we can spend less time chasing our clients and spend more time developing the relationship.
Yeah, interesting video. So, I mean, we've all had this where a document's lying on our table, we were meant to sign it, we spilled coffee over it, and what happens? Eventually it goes in the trash. But just to give you an idea, I mean, the simplicity of signing using Adobe Sign will definitely help your business. Any questions from anyone? All okay? I'm going to ask you to go ahead then, Vanessa.
I noticed now that these tunes are quite catchy that these videos have. Let's go for it.
When I first started using Adobe Sign, I was so happy with how easy it was to use. You can just log in, upload your document, add the relevant fields, send it, and off you go. You can set up templates. You can just do everything that you want in one place really quickly and really easily. And actually, it's simple, but it's versatile as well. And there are so many different applications for us in our business.
Thanks, Vanessa. I just want to touch on setting up of templates. I mean, most of us in organizations already have pre-built forms, whether it's a leave form, expense form, or complex form. It's literally, and if you have been using Acrobat and you've created like a form using Acrobat with form fields, when you import that form into Adobe Sign, it automatically detects those fields. So at that point, all you basically need to do is just drop in the signature field and set up the mini workflow, however you need to set up the workflow process. Over to you, Vanessa.
Sometimes we work with contractors, and we have quite a comprehensive time tracking system built within our project management. But what we like our contractors to do at the end of the week is to fill in just one simple form which aggregates all of their time spent with us on task during the previous week. By creating this form in Adobe Sign and sending a link out to our contractors, it's much more psychological than anything, because they're actually signing a declaration to say, yes, these are the hours that I've done. And what we can see is the average hours worked by our contractors each week has actually gone down a little bit, because they're not rounding up to make things easier as perhaps they would have done before they were using Adobe Sign. So it's been a really interesting learning curve in that respect, and it's actually saving us a little bit of money as well.
Thanks, Vanessa. Was that the last video? Oh,
one more to go, and then we're done. Shall we finish it?
Before we go ahead, I just want to touch on one point. For me, like looking at this use case for the video that you just saw, Adobe Sign, once you sign the document, it can be used as a data collection tool. And this is where, let's say, if you're sending a document out to 500 people to sign, let's call it a survey, or filling in their details for HR to be updated. At the end of those processes, you could basically export all of that data into a CSV format and to an organized fashion for you to be able to sort of store this information into a centralized service. Over to you, Vanessa. Thanks.
We often send artwork to our clients for approval, and what I love about Adobe Sign is we can upload that artwork directly to the system as an image and draw attention to specific points that need consideration. So in this infographic, I would like to draw attention to this box here, and the text has changed since our last round of approvals. So I simply drag this checkbox button on here. I can make it a little bit bigger so that's a little bit more obvious. And then by double clicking on it, I can make it a required field. I can add a tooltip, text for approval, so the client knows what they're looking at when they roll over it. And then add the signature field. And now we know that the client needs to approve the text that's changed add their signature, and then it's good to go.
Thanks, Vanessa. Yeah, so before I close off, I just want to touch quickly on the licensing model for Adobe Sign. And basically, you would be purchasing, if you buy Sign, you'll buy it under what we call a VIP agreement. And you have two options of buying Adobe Sign. The first option is the per user model. And the per user model is basically assigned to a user that gives a user access to 150 transactions. Effectively, 150 transactions is equivalent to 150 envelopes that's sent out. There's no option of sharing or pooling licenses under the per user model. The second option is the per transaction model. This is quite handy where you could buy, say, 500 transactions for your organization, which is valid for 12 months. Those 500 transactions could be pooled amongst your organization. So, for example, HR needs 20 transactions for employee onboarding. They'll utilize 20. Your sales department, they go through a lot of sales agreements and they'll utilize 80. And so forth. I mean, at the end of this, if you deplete those 500 transactions, you could easily top them up during the term of your agreement. Ultimately, whatever transactions you purchase need to be utilized within 12 months. Yeah, so any questions? I saw 1 or 2 responses come through for the certificate being signed. Any comments? If you have any specific questions, please, raise them now.
Did anyone maybe not get the email? Let's ask that.
Yeah.
Everybody get it?
Yeah, all good. So
we'll assume so, and we'll hope they managed to sign. I managed to sign.
Brilliant. Oh no, we've got 1 thumbs up there.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, those of you that have signed the certificate, the attendance certificate, you'll see how simple it was. I mean, you could literally have signed that using your mobile device. You don't have to pull out your laptop or tablet device. And as previously mentioned, all you need is an internet connection and a browser to sign the document. So
maybe I'll quickly share my screen just to show what it looks like. I signed it, and then this is what I basically get in my mailbox, which is the certificate, that's my signature, signed by me, and then here is the trail, the history. So really super easy, and I signed it from my phone. So yeah.
Brilliant. So I mean, you can see this template that you're looking at literally took me maybe 10 minutes. I just needed to find a nice picture, and it's not rocket science. You don't have to be a developer to sort of build these kind of templates. It's all what we call GUI, graphical user interface, drag and drop. So it's very simple. Also, just before I close off, when you buy Adobe Sign, you get access to what we call Adobe Expert Support. So you get 2 expert support sessions per license, so actually per user, that basically enables you to sort of sit down with an Adobe solution expert. It'll obviously be a remote Teams call or something like that, whereby they'll assist you with your specific use case. I call myself a medium level expert in building these kind of templates, so I could assist you. But if it gets very complex, where you need to do integration into your Microsoft Teams environment, you could very easily lean on Adobe Expert Support, which is basically included with your licensing cost. That's basically it from my side. If you have any further questions, if you have any specific use case you want to explore, like an employee onboarding form or any specific form that you'd like to put into an electronic signature workflow, please chat to Vanessa and she'll arrange a Teams call with the 3 of us.
Thank you so much, Bishan. So I think if there are no more questions, I'll give it one more go. Any questions, any comments before we can close for the day? Nothing? Okay, then I would like to say thank you very much to everybody for joining. Apologies for the hiccups here and there. Like I said, please watch out for the email, the follow-up email with a feedback form. We are available for one-on-one discussions, one-to-many discussions. Feedback form important for us to see if you want us to engage with you any further, or if you want a proof of concept or a demo environment set up for yourself. So we lost Bishan and Bishan is back. So I think with that, I am going to close off today. Thank you again to our partners, CES, Shamila. Thanks for being on the call and the support. Thank you for Tinus bringing the wealth of experience, and Bishan for the practical nature of the demonstration. That was really nice. So thank you, everybody. Have a fantastic day. We're exactly on time, 3:15. How's that for good timing?